this child has gang tattoos drawn on his entire body. Um, the chappies, as they call it, on his shoulders, the chappies of a numbers gang general. He has on his chest, he has the number 28 drawn on his chest. It's a reference to the 28 prisons gang. Also in the photograph, it shows of this 3-year-old child showing gang signs with his fingers. The image is believed to have been posted by his mother. There have been reporters going to Wellington, going to speak to activists there, and people are concerned. They say that the child's father is a gangster and that this 3-year-old innocent is being groomed to follow in his footsteps. It is a battle already lost, the desensitization of a 3-year-old soul already living that particular lifestyle, that culture, that environment. But what can be done? I'm sure there's no law that says you cannot put or cannot draw with a pen or a koki tattoos on a child's body, but it's quite clear that this child is already set up in an environment where the options for him will be very, very few. Dr. Robert McDonald is the head of department at the Department of Social Development here in the Western Cape. Robert, thanks so much for joining us. You've seen the picture. You've read the IOL article. Have social workers managed to track down this particular family, this particular mother, simply just to investigate if this is a healthy environment for this 3-year-old baby to be growing up in, Robert?
Good morning. Yes, our social workers in Wellington have tracked down the family. The investigation that they're going to conduct will involve a complicated process of assessing all the aspects of the child's life to determine what the so it's not just going to be based on the picture, but obviously that is a red flag that we have to initiate an investigation.
Of course, I am completely sensitive to continuing for a child to live with their mum. I think that a removal is incredibly traumatic experience. But what is the processes generally for a social worker to determine this is not a healthy living environment for a child and maybe a place of safety is needed?
The social workers have a tool that they use called the safety and risk assessment, and basically they go thoroughly through all aspects of the child's life with the family to determine whether or not it would be safe for the child to stay there. And certainly they will look at all the risk factors. Usually if there's something like this photograph, that it is a sign that there may be other issues as well, apart from the gang affiliation risk. And we have to make sure that that if the child is removed, that it's done so on solid grounds. But there may be other options as well to support the mother and the child and find them a safer environment together if that's possible. So it really depends on the circumstance. We don't know enough about the family.
Does the Department of Social Development do any research, investigation into the systemic environmental causes of gangsterism here in the Cape
Uh,
Flats in the Western Cape? It's more than just police. It's more than just law enforcement. Is there a way of saying, let us try and intervene? Because we already know of the stories of the 12, 13-year-old boys in our communities that are already exposed to gang and gun culture. They are easily primed to enter into the gang. Heck, we even know of reports of young boys being either runners of guns or even shooters of guns, Robert.
yes, there's a lot of research that we've done, and also that other in organizations like the universities and so on. We work with these children. We have a number of them who come into our facilities to be assisted and to work on and get them away from the gang life. And we've got some wonderful success stories of helping children get away from that. But it does take a concerted effort and a number of years of work when we do have cases like that. So we try to prevent that situation from happening in the first place. And this is an example of where there may be the possibility of prevention rather than cure.
But for now, in this case, this boy, this 3-year-old, is still in the care of his mother.
At the moment, the social workers are conducting the investigation. So they would, if they decide that removal is warranted, then they would do so. And then they would need to go before court within 24 hours to ratify the removal if that does happen. But we also, as I say, we need to look at what other options are because we don't know the full story behind the mother's relationship with the child, and if that is something that can still be sustained and worked on.
Robert McDonald, Social Development Head of Department here in the Western Cape. Caroline Peters of the Colours Foundation, thanks for getting in touch with us. Your thoughts on this 3-year-old baby? It's not a child, it's a toddler. My child is 3 years old. I still consider him my baby. With gang chappies on his arm, a 28 on his chest, throwing gang signs. I believe this child is lost already at 3 years old and through no fault of his own.
No, definitely. Good morning, Lester. Good morning, listeners. Thank you for this opportunity. Poverty and the lack of opportunities. If I look at that, so when I saw this the first time I was appalled, I went on to the mother's Facebook page. I was talking. I went into a page and I looked at it and I thought it is about so communities like Wellington and many others, even here on the Cape Flats, poverty is a breeding ground. We know for gangsterism, gang culture. When parents lack access, lesser to livelihoods, education, psychosocial, there's no services, psychosocial support, they're more likely to turn to gangs. We know, but it's normalizing gang culture. I look at this baby, like you said, rightfully a 3-year-old. What chance does he have? He has no chance. If his mother already perpetuates that type or normalize, glorify gang culture and gang behavior, it's a norm. So like you said earlier, from 10 he'll be running with a gun. We know on the Cape Flats, the young boys are the ones on the bikes, on the skateboards that moves the guns and the drugs. And this will become part of who he is and what his life is. His mother's partner shows the same. If you click on that profile, you'll see she's now since locked the profile. His mother's partner, I'm not sure if it's the boy's daddy, but the mother's partner, same gang signs, etc. So you can see it's normalizing gang culture for him. And Lester, 28, we know it goes with a prison gang, and more specifically a prison gang. So is that what chance does a 3-year-old have,
Are we talking really about a generation lost? I don't know what intervention. Yes. I know that there are some organizations who try to intervene. There's an organization in Ottery that identifies young boys at risk, and they, with the agreement of their parents, they say, let's take them up country. They're going to live on a farm for a year to at least break sort of a chain, a momentary chain from being exposed. Yes. But we're really talking about generations lost, and the way we fight gangs and gangsterism. It's not a plan that comes to fruition in a year, 5 years, 10 years. It's a plan that is essentially generational that we need.
Definitely. Lester, we have a preventative program for young boys from 9 to 15 years old. We speak identity, consent, everything to reduce gender-based violence or break that culture of them being cocketed into gangs, etc. And we know, we started this program last year in January, by December, we've had reports from the educators to say that how the boys' attitudes have changed. But it takes about a year. Initially, when we started the program, we thought we could do 12 weeks and then have different set of weeks, but it doesn't work like that. It's actually a journey that you're going to have to walk with them. So we know. So there's a lack of early intervention services in all our communities. So systems needs to be designed to protect children. So often our programs, most of our programs as NGOs, because of funding, it is proactive. It is a reactive rather than proactive. So we need
in this
early
instance,
intervention.
and in this instance, it's maddening that we have to think that intervention starts at the age of 3 years old.